Oh, we're live. All right, so we're going to do 8M4. Let's see here. Lesson 7, classification of solutions. So we're going to talk about linear equations. We're going to keep building on what we've been doing, linear equations, solving them. But we're going to talk about the 3 different types of solutions that we can get when we are solving linear equations. So let's be specific. So when solving, what we're talking about when we talk about classification of solutions, we're talking about when solving linear equations, 3 things can happen. Okay, and we alluded to 2 of them over the last, or maybe all 3 of them over the last 6 lessons. And so the first thing that can happen is you can solve and you can get down to, you end up with variable equals a number. And that's like x equals 4 or y equals negative 1.5 or z equals negative 5/7. And so in this case, I have one solution. That's case 1. I have one solution, and my solution is x is 4. And no other number will work. And an example would be like, 2x equals 8. And I solve it down and I get x equals 4. And no other number will work. 0 won't work because if I plug it in, 2 times 0 equals 8, that won't work because I'll get 0. 1 doesn't work. Negative numbers don't work. The only number, only one answer will work. Okay, and this is the most, here, let's say this too. This is most common. This is the most common. In a linear equation, when we're solving linear equations, you'll get one solution almost all of the time. However, there's a second and third case. The second case is you end up with a false statement where a number equals a different number. So you end up with something like 3 equals 6 or 1 equals negative 1 or 10 equals 5/4. If you end up with a false statement, an example of this would be if you solve this equation. 3x plus 1 equals 3x minus 7. So if I simplify by subtracting 3x from both sides, I subtract 3x and I subtract 3x, the left side I end up with 1 equals negative 7. And this is a false statement because 1 does not equal negative 7. And in this case, I have no solution. 0 solutions. Right? There's no number. In other words, there is no number I can put into this equation here and get a true answer. I can't put in 0, I can't put in 1, I can't put in infinity, I can't put in negative 3/2, I can't put in any number into x and have it ever be the case that 3x plus 1 is equal to 3x minus 7. Okay, the third case is I end up with a true statement, an always true statement. And this is statement. This is like a number equals the same number. So I end up with something like 2 equals 2, or 4 equals 4, or 1/9 equals 1/9. Anytime this happens, I end up with infinite solutions. So let's look at this. So if I have like x plus 2 equals a half of x plus 4, on the right side, after I distribute, I get, half of 2x plus 4. On the right side, I get x plus 2 equals x plus 2. I subtract x, and I get 2 equals 2. So in other words, any number, lots of numbers will work. If I put a 0 in, check this out. If I put a 0 in on the left side, I'll get 0 plus 2 is 2. And on the right side, I'll get 0 plus 2 times 0 plus 4 is 4 times a half is 2. So 2 equals 2. You can try it with, lots of numbers. If you can try put a 2 in. If I put a 2 in, I get 4 on the left, and I get 2 times 2 is 4 plus 4 is 8 times a half is 4. So I get 4 equals 4. If I put negative 2 in, I get 0 on the left, and I get 0 on the right. So I have infinite solutions. Okay, so these are our 3 cases. We're going to try and solve the equation, and if I end up with a variable equals a number, I know I have 1 solution. If I end up with a false statement, I know I have no solutions. And if I end up with a true statement, I have infinite solutions. So we're going to go through and solve 3 equations that give us these 3 different numbers. I'm going to pull these from today's lesson. Then I'm going to let you do 3 on your own. And then I'm going to show you how you can write your own equations that have 1, 0, or infinite solutions. And that's going to come in our homework help. Okay, so let's move forward. So here we have, here we go. So our classification of solutions. So you're going to have to tell me on these 3 things whether I have 1 solution, 0 solutions, or infinite solutions. If you want to check, to pause and try on your own, you can. Otherwise, I'll do these 3 with you. These are from today's lesson. And then you're going to get to do 3 more on your own in the next page. So let's just go about solving these. So here we go. We're going to subtract. We're going to try and get our x's on the left and our numbers on the right. So let's subtract 5x from both sides. And I'm going to go through and we're going to do both at once. We're going to do our numbers and our variables. So we can add negative 5x plus 3 to the left and add negative 5x plus 3 to the right. And watch how we can do this whole thing in one step. If that's too much for you, just do your variables first and then do your numbers second. But we'll do them all at once here. So on the left here, I get 2x, 7x minus 5x. These cancel. And on the right, my x's cancel, and I get 8. And I'm going to use the division property of equality, and I get x equals 4. I'm going to check my answer, and I'm going to say, well, 7 times 4 minus 3 equals 5 times 4 plus 5. This is 28 minus 3 is 25. And on the right, I get 20 plus 5 equals 25. Check. So I have 1 solution. And that's x equals 4, and I've checked it. And that's the only number that will work. Now, I guess you can probably guess that one of these is going to be infinite and one's going to be 0 solutions. So let's get going. We're just going to, we'll add 3 and we'll subtract 7x from both sides. X's cancel. Up on the left side, I have 0. On the right side, I have 8. Now we have to think. What is this? 0 equals 8. All of our variables are gone and we have a false statement. We have to recall what that means. A false statement means that there are no solutions to the equation. There's nothing will work. There is no x, no value of x will make the equation true. Okay, so this one's probably infinite solutions, but let's just go through the exercise here. We're going to subtract 7x from both sides. And we're going to add 3 to both sides. Watch what happens. On the left, we get 0, and on the right, we get 0. Well, that's a true statement. So we have infinite solutions. And just to check it out, let's try 0. Let's see what happens with 0, 1, and 2. Let's see if we have a lot of solutions here. 7 times 0 minus 3 equals -3 plus 7 times 0. Well, -3 equals -3, so that's true. So that works. 0 works. 7 times 1 minus 3 equals -3 plus 7 times 1. Well, 7 minus 3 is 4. And -3 plus 7 equals 4. So that works. So 1 works. And I'm going to guess 2 works too. 7 times 2 minus 3 is 11. And on the right, -3 times 7 times, plus 7 times 2, that equals -3 plus 14. So that's 11. 11 equals 11, check. So you got infinite solutions here. And that's how we characterize our 3 problems from the lesson today. Now we're going to move on to some homework help. And I'm going to let you pause and try. These are a little bit trickier than the ones we just did because these require you to do a little bit more math before you get your answer. But this is good for practice. Continue to practice solving linear equations. So pause and try, and we'll come back and solve. And then after this, we're going to learn one last new thing that's going to help you out on your homework as well. Okay, I assume you've paused and tried all 3 of these. Let's go. So I'm going to get my x's on the left here, which means let's get our numbers on the right. All right, so we have 9x, these cancel, equals, these cancel, minus 18, divided by 9, x equals -2. Check our answer, check. 4 times -2 plus 3 equals -5 times -2 minus 15. -8 plus 3 equals 10 minus 15. -5 equals -5. Check. 1 solution. And our solution is x equals -2. Number 2. That distribution thing rears its head. Let's distribute. 7x plus 2 equals 7x minus 3. Subtract 7x from both sides. 2 equals -3. Well, that's false. So I have 0 solutions. Okay, so this is probably infinite, but maybe I tricked you. We'll see. We got to combine our like terms. 2x and 6x is 8x plus 4. Here we have to distribute. 8x plus 4. This is looking like it's going to be always true. 4 equals 4. Check. So this is always true. So we have infinite solutions. And so let's lay down our happy cats. Triple trifecta on the happy cats. Now I want to do one more thing with you. So this is going to be, oops, undo happy cat. So we want to give an example of a problem with no solutions. And this is something you're going to have to do on the homework, but let me show you how you do it. This is clever. So what we're going to do, if a problem has no solutions, it has to end with a false statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build you a problem. And you can do this yourself, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's start. The key is to go in reverse, to go in reverse. This is how I build my problems with no solutions. I start in reverse. I start with a false statement. So we start with a false statement. And then we add variables. Watch this. So I'm going to start with a false statement. 0 equals 3. So now I'm going to add some variables to this. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides because I can do that. So let's add 3x to both sides. So I get 3x equals 3x plus 3. And so this is a false statement. This has no solution too. This has no solution. And I can make it even fancier. Now let's subtract 2 from both sides. So 3x minus 2 equals 3x plus 1. This has no solution. And I can keep going. I can, I could add an x to both sides. 3x minus 2 plus x equals 3x plus 1 plus x. And this has no solution. So you can do the same thing. Maybe you could start with 2 equals minus 4 and do something cool. Maybe multiply both sides by x. 2x let's just add 2x to both sides. 2 plus 2x equals negative 4 plus 2x. And then I can just undistribute and say 2 times 1 plus x equals negative 4 plus 2x. And these will be no solution. So that's how I build them. Do things like that. Okay, an equation with infinite solutions, you do something similar. Let's start with a true statement. Negative 10 equals negative 10. Let's add 2x to both sides. 2x minus 10 equals 2x minus 10. Now let's kind of play with this a little bit, and let's say, well, 2x minus 10 less x minus 5. This is the 2x minus 5 is the same thing as 2x minus 10 if you factor, because if we go backwards, we'll get that. So these are true statements. With infinite solutions. Because I'm just using properties of equality to go forward. So I could say 2x minus 10 plus 4x equals 2 times x minus 5 plus 4x. Okay. So that's how you can create your own equations. And the last thing we're going to do is let's just create a problem with one solution. What would you start with? To do a problem with infinite zero, you start with a false. Infinite, you start with a true. But with a one solution, you start with a variable equals a number. So I'm going to start with x equals 4. So this, I'm going to create a problem with one solution of x equals 4. And this is how I build these problems. I do this when I create sample problems for you. So let's do this. Let's multiply, or let's add 2 to both sides. Then we're going to multiply by 4. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. So this one, you can see this. This answer to this guy is x equals 4. You can see that. I added 2 to both sides, but you can almost just look at it and see, well, 4 plus 2 equals 6. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. So now I have to multiply 4, and I have to multiply by the whole left side equals 24. And this is a problem whose answer, right, is x equals 4. And you can't necessarily see that. But now I could even add 2 to both sides. Let's see, let's subtract 3 from both sides. X plus 2 minus 3 equals 21. This one also, these all have answers with x equals 4. And it's hard to see, but you've created that problem from scratch. And so let me encourage you to create a problem. Q equals 9. I encourage you to do the same thing. We can add 2 to both sides, multiply both sides by 4, and subtract 3. And we can create a problem where the answer is Q equals 9. Q plus 2 equals 11. Multiply both sides by 4. 4 times Q plus 2 equals 44. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. This all have an answer of Q equals 9. Do you think I always have to do this exact thing of adding 2, multiplying by 4, and subtracting 3? No, you could do it. You could make these be any numbers. So with that, I will leave you. And next time I see you, we will work on 8 and 4 lesson 8, which is, I don't know what it is, but it will have something to do with linear equations, and I'm there to help. If you like this video, please, just say that you like it. Click the like button or subscribe to the video. These things help. Or just tell your friends about these videos and tell them how you don't have to watch the whole thing. If it sounds long, if it's 30 minutes, just go and watch the homework help, or just go and watch that key piece that might have helped you out. And then, oops. Then always remember to say thank you. Good to be a gracious person living this world. So thank you I thank you for listening and watching. We'll talk to you later. Happy mathing.